Let's get to the biggest one and potentially probably the most exciting game of the weekend. It's happening at the Etihad. It's Manchester City, defending champions, taking on Tottenham Hotspur, who at a point looked like they were going to put together a challenge, but injuries have worried them. Let's see, before we even get into how they look or how they looked in their last two games, let's have a look at the head-to-head, and then we'll get into all other things. Let's have a look at the head-to-head between Manchester City and Tottenham Hotspur in the Premier League. There you have it. 52 games in between. 17 wins for Man City. 28 wins for Spurs. And again, I'll go back to something I've been saying in the last month. It is simply because Manchester City became this good from 2011. Prior all of that, Spurs were winning a lot of the games. So that's the context, really. They've drawn 7. Spurs have 17 home wins and 11 away wins. Man City, 11 home wins, 6 away wins. And out of that 6, probably the most memorable one was Mancini's first away trip to his second away trip to the Old White. I think they won 5-0. I think it was Aguero when Aguero had just arrived, and he and Dzeko were causing him. All right, let's have a look at the season stats. The season stats for the two teams. There you have it. This is what they look like this season. Man City, 9 wins, 2 draws, 2 losses, goal difference of +20. Spurs, 8 wins, 2 losses, 3 draws, goal difference of +8. So that's how it looks like there. But let us see how the two teams looked in their last games, and then we'll hear from the two managers. First, we'll give you Manchester City versus Liverpool, and then that crazy game between Tottenham Hotspur and Aston Villa. All right, so that's how the two teams look like. 1-1 between Man City and Liverpool, great game. 2-1 for Villa against Spurs. So Spurs have lost, 3 straight?
Yeah, 3 straight.
3 straight.
After going unbeaten in the 8 before that.
Interesting. Look, every team will go through their ups and downs, and I guess it's a test for Ange Postecoglou. Yep. But that test doesn't get any tougher than going to Man City, where your backline is in tatters, and you now have to take them on. And that's the forget, Man City haven't won any big game except the Manchester Derby, which is, I wonder if it's a big game these days.
In the traditional sense, it's a big game.
Maybe it's big for United, but not big for City.
In the traditional sense, it's big.
Yeah. Wow. So let's look at it from a Spurs point of view. You are Ange Postecoglou. It is very obvious that the way your team plays puts them in very dangerous situations where they could concede for fun. Yes. But it looks like he's not backing down. Yes. And it's very likely they'll go and play the same way at the Etihad. Can they survive at the Etihad?
We really don't get a red card else.
Can they survive? Yes, they can. But would the idealist Postecoglou change his way?
I think that should be...
I don't think so.
You don't think?
I don't think so. That's why I say they won't survive. But if he plays a pragmatic game, he takes a pragmatic approach, absolutely, they will survive and might even end up beating Manchester City. But he's an idealist. And if you wanted any confirmation of how deep his level of idealism is, it was in that game against Chelsea, where he was down by 2 men, and the guy kept on playing a very high line, kept on pressing Chelsea, and just kept on gifting away chance after chance after chance, and constantly relying on his goalkeeper to be the sweeper, to be the last defender kind of player. And so, that was Chelsea with Nicholas Jackson and company in an attacking sense. But this is Manchester City, where you have Erling Haaland, you have the likes of Julian Alvarez and company in that attacking front. So when you play that kind of system, you're definitely asking for trouble, and you're definitely asking to be spanked by 4, 5, 6 goals to 0. And so if he decides to just do away with his idealistic style just for a game, if there was a game at this point in the season where he had to just ditch his idealism system, is this game. Because at the end of the day, you're coming up against a better opponent. You're coming up against a team with your regular center backs not present, either through suspension or through injuries. And the midfield that protects the center backs are also not in proper function, because you have suspensions, you also have injuries in there. Bentancur isn't around.
Yeah.
So
just after coming back, he's gone again.
Exactly. So the best thing to do is to just step away from your idealistic style just for a
Just
game
for a game.
and take a pragmatic approach. If they do so, oh yes, they have the weapons and the guys who will be able to play out such a game plan down to a T. Because you have Brennan Johnson, you have Heung-min Song, you have Kulusevski in that front line. Then your fullbacks, you have the likes of Pedro Porro, who is built for that kind of game. And so for me, if they want to play a pragmatic style, oh yes, they do have a strong fighting chance, high fighting chance to be able to get a draw or a shock win at Manchester City. But if Ange Postecoglou decides to be Ange Postecoglou, yeah, then they will concede about 4 goals.
I see. Emmanuel, so what should be Pep Guardiola's plan? Sit and wait to see what kind of Spurs shows up? Or they should go after Spurs from the off?
Well, I think Pep would have had a much more headache if this game was played, let's say, a month ago.
Okay.
Where Spurs had their best players, they were in some form, and then they went to the Etihad. That would have been an exciting game. That would have been something everybody would want to watch. But if you look at even their possible lineup, they are probably going to play Ben Davies and Emerson Royal as the centre-back pair, and you play Udogie and Pedro Porro on the other side. Yeah. And as he has said, if he's going to play and stick strong to his ideals, they are probably going to invert. Then you have Jeremy Doku and whoever they play on the other side, whether it's Grealish or
Foden.
It could be, and I think for Pep, he's going to set out to do what he does best. I mean, outside the Liverpool draw, they had gone, I think, 23 games winning at the Etihad. Yeah. So if you are going to go then, even Liverpool didn't even play exceptionally well, but you could see that it took every inch of tactics from both coaches to be able to even come out with a 1-1 draw. And that's elite level management. So if you are going to go to Spurs and come out, I mean, if you are going to go to the Etihad and come out with anything, you'd have to be on point. For me, I don't think Spurs would be. And I think
it's not because they are a bad side, but they just don't have.
They are just handicapped, and their coach is not going to twist his ways to suit anybody. So then, Pep Guardiola is going to go out there. He will try to probably kill off the game in the first 30 minutes and put his players to rest and then end the game, because I mean, yes, they wouldn't have been particularly happy with the performance against Liverpool.
Okay.
So they would want to go out there again, first of all, to show everybody that we are the people everybody's chasing. We are the title. We are not the pretenders. We are here actually to retain it. So anybody who seems to be pretending, we put you in your rightful position. And I think that's how Pep will approach the game. And if Spurs are not careful and they do not do their things right, we could be in for a very high-scoring game.
All right. Let's hear from the two managers who are involved in this. Ange Postecoglou is Tottenham Hotspur manager. Okay, we'll first hear from Pep Guardiola, and then we'll hear from Ange Postecoglou. And they are both speaking ahead of Manchester City's home game versus Tottenham Hotspur this weekend. All right, so that was Ange Postecoglou and Pep Guardiola. So Pep says Spurs, yeah, nice football, likes it, they attack. We know what that means. It means that they're certainly going to slaughter.
Yeah, because listening to Ange Postecoglou, he says it's not about the result, it's not about how you play, it's all about the mindset. And looking at him as a manager, his mindset is to play all attacking football, and he will transfer that to his players.
So that's what
and he wants him and his side to measure themselves up to the best team in the land. He will go idealistic Ange Postecoglou, open it up, play attacking football. Right. He will just open it up for Manchester City to score 4 or 5 goals.
Well, for us, the observers, what do we know? I mean, it should be fun. We'll see. Look, we'll see. I'm sure they will give us an absolute thriller there. All right.